Hello and welcome to Center for Victory podcast of Your Best Day Yet. Here at Center for Victory, we're here to help unlock, reinforce, and enrich relationships through personal and professional development. My name is Zack DelTurco. I'm an executive consultant. Today we have Guy, Chief Victory Officer. And this whole month in December, we're talking about 2020 vision.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I know we have a couple underneath our belt and we just have more vision for what we're going to be talking about.
Right, and I'm excited about this just because I like talking about it, like when people start getting cranked up and amped up for the new year. The only thing, like what we'll be talking about today is, many people start out with good intentions and then it's like, yeah, right after the first week, it's like, we're done. What we're talking about today is really, when you look at vision, being able to be prepared for that change, because it does take a change, because there's so many ingrained habits that we all have, and it's not easy task to try to change those. So before kind of diving right into some of those New Year's goals and the visions that we talked about, it's important just to step back and really get ready for that impending change. And you shouldn't have to wait till the new year, just as that's when we normally do it. But if you're somebody that already does it, this will still be good for you. Because I'm going to share some things that we do even internally in our family to create that vision for each other, and some things internally in the company that we even look at. But the breakthrough in change is really just to take personal inventory. You've gone through this, and I have a copy right here in front of me, and I didn't create this. This is just a normal, what they call a life wheel, and it has just the aspects of everything, kind of that would play out in your life: home and family, ethics and belief. Just to take inventory of where am I at socially? Where do I want to be socially? Where am I at mentally? Where do I want to be mentally? Right? Do I want to get the white jacket off, or do I want to keep it on? But really, we don't ask ourselves a lot of that. I've heard this somewhere before that a lot of us will plan better to go to the grocery store than we will in our lives, which is kind of sad. But let me stop rambling here a little bit and just ask you a question. All right, let me ask you a couple questions.
Yeah.
Ready for these? All right. So what is something that you're really proud of that you accomplished this year in 2019?
Yeah, I don't think I'm there just yet, but I'm definitely on the right path. And my Christmas present for myself last year was to get myself a placard of being the Rookie of the Year for what we currently do here at Center for Victory. And it wasn't a financial goal. It was like, okay, I want to be able to help 26 companies by the end of the year. I wanted to beat your record, honestly, but I also wanted to help other companies make sure they get their people right, their people strategy, their talent optimization. And I'm only a couple away, but I am definitely on the right path. But that's something I have on my desk. So every morning I'm sitting there at my desk. When I work at my desk, sometimes I work here at the office, but I have it right in front of me, PI Rookie of the Year. And if I didn't have that in front of me, and then I also write it down in a notebook as well. I have 5 goals that I write down every single day. First thing I wake up, I write PI Rookie of the Year. I want to help 400 kids through Riot, like things like that. But definitely having that vision in front of you, and waking up to that every day has been a huge breakthrough for me.
Okay, so let's jump to 2020 now. So we're ending up, we're getting into December here. We're looking at the year ahead of us, and so, you're kind of cheating here because I'm going to ask you these questions along with everybody else in the company. But you get to cheat a little bit because you get to prepare a little bit here. But what's one thing that you are challenging yourself to reach in 2020?
Yeah, I want to grow the business by over 100%.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, but I believe I can do it. Just keeping focused and knowing that there's more companies that need help with their people. And it's a passion of mine because I was burnt in my last job, and just to see the life being sucked out of me, I want to help other companies rejuvenate, get their people excited to go to work.
That's good. That's a good why too.
Yeah.
That's another podcast. But
Yeah.
That's a good why. You could share that more when we do that one. It's coming in the next couple podcasts. As I go down through these are questions that I've used, especially with my kids and my spouse. What we've done for years is right before the New Year's, we just take inventory, kind of like we're doing now and helping people evaluate here. So if any of these kind of hit a nerve after I'm done with them, maybe speak to them a little bit. But the questions that we use every year, and hopefully this is helpful for the people that are listening, with family, friends, the first thing is not necessarily a question, but it's really just what I ask you is look over your past year, like look at your goals, look at your vision, what have you accomplished? Because a lot of times we forget how far we've come. I can't remember the things that happened in January and February.
Yeah.
When you think about you, that's kind of where you were just starting here, and now look what you've done. I mean, it's incredible.
Well, you have to have a great coach.
Thank you. But it's really looking at what you've accomplished, and this is not. You can do this anywhere, but I mean, like look at what you've accomplished. And then what are you most proud of? What have you learned? That could be good, bad. What challenges? Did you set some things too high? Did you not go after some things you really wanted to go after? The question that I always ask for is what are you thriving for in that coming year? So what are you thriving for this year when we sit down and do all that is really going to be what are you thriving for in 2020? What are your biggest challenges, good or bad? Right? I don't like to use problems or just challenges, right? Good, bad, or otherwise. And then how can we help with these things? So how can I help encourage? And I'll be doing that with all of you. I do that with my family. How can we help encourage that? And then the other thing that you really need, because we're talking about change right now, changing your perception. How are we going to follow up with those things? How are we going to commit to follow up? Because a lot of people will just write it, set it and forget it, and you don't come back to it until 12 months later. It's like, oh, yeah, I didn't do that. So is there any one particular one that kind of resonated with you there?
I think just to start off with this quick quote, everybody ends up somewhere, but few people end up somewhere on purpose. Without a vision, people wander. Without a vision, people go to work. Without a vision, people take for granted their family and their friends and what they do. So I think everything you said, it's the idea of getting a vision, number one, for your life, number two, for different areas within your life, the life wheel that we talked about. And it doesn't have to be like, I want to lose 250 pounds. Like, it could be, hey, I want to get 50 pounds off this year. It doesn't have to be so far out there. I think it's good to have those stretch goals, but sometimes if you have those stretch goals that are just like so far out there, like you get discouraged if that momentum's not happening early on.
Good. Yeah, thanks a lot. Another question here. One of the things that I harp on a lot, and I know you laugh when I say this, that's why I'm laughing. Focus. And from being around me a while, and I will say, like, I'm not like perfect at it. I just have to keep telling myself. But from being around me a while, how has that changed for you, and how has getting more focused impacted your life like in the past 12 months?
Well, for those of you guys who do not know the Predictive Index, I have what you call as a situational C. Low C's create change, high C's implement change. So I'm right on that midpoint where I can either have ADHD or I can have tremendous human focus.
Okay.
I know for me, there's really 3 things that I focus on. The first one is my relationship with my wife, my relationship with God. Number 2 is PI, the Predictive Index, what we do here. And number 3 is mentoring young men without fathers. Like those, everything else, that's my decision gate.
Yeah.
So the Predictive Index, because of you saying have focus, and I have 30,000 ideas I would love to do. I wanted to write a book this year. I wanted to start a coaching program this year. I want to do this, and this. But all those are good things.
Yep.
But it's keeping me from doing what's great and being an expert at 1 to 2 things. And that's what you harping all the time, stay focused, stay focused, stay focused, has really just got me to a place where I'm tunnel vision.
Mm-hmm.
I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see the impact that we're making through helping all these companies and helping them understand what it means to really help their people get in the right position, and how to inspire them and how to motivate them and how to engage them. That just the focus of being focused. So your repetitiveness of saying focus, focus, focus has really been a huge impact.
Yeah, and I'm going to jump off script just a little bit here, just because something triggered me to ask you. Now, I've worked with a lot of youth. You've worked with a lot of youth. If you were to give around focus, if you were to give youth any bit of advice around that subject, what do you think it would be?
Around focus?
Yeah. Like, think about a kid that's, middle school, high school, think back to when we were there and, we kind of didn't know what we needed to do. I think I kind of ran into it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing at that point in time, but now looking back, I think I had a sort of a vision and focus of what I wanted to do. I don't think it was always correct, but
yeah,
I was doing something right.
Yeah. I think, and we might have different answers here, there's 2 things I would tell any teenager or anybody in general to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, getting the right coaches. Focus on getting the right coaches in your life. Yourself, my father-in-law, my uncle, my dad.
Yeah.
Like, focus on Pastor Zach and Pastor Larry, getting the right people, the right coaches. Focus, focus, focus. Like, what areas do you want to grow in? Get somebody who's an expert in that field. I'm not a financial advisor, but I know somebody who's a really good financial advisor. I'm not a tax attorney, but I know somebody who's a great tax attorney. Like, find somebody that you're looking to grow in this year, and get them as a coach, whether that's once a month, once a quarter, but also focus on the right people in your life, your friends. Focus on the right friends, because you will ultimately end up like your 5 closest friends. And that would be my 2 things I would say focus on. How about you?
That's really good. No, I'm going to end it with that. That's like really good. I don't think I can top that one.
Yeah, you can. Come on.
Come on. That's good. I have one more question for you before we stop this podcast. But I just want to know, what are some things that you've had to prepare for, like in your mind, to change in 2020? Like, you've learned this year, if you... And some of it, I'm looking for advice too, but like, is there like a story that you might have that's something that you've really challenged yourself to think differently in 2019 into 2020 that you're really looking, hey, this is how I'm gonna...
Yeah. I think for me, the biggest change or the biggest catalyst of change is sitting down and just being intentional. So I have 5 goals.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have this year. They're huge goals, but if I spread myself on 15 to 20 different things, I'll never get any of them done. A couple of them aren't even significant. It's just one of them, I want to give 25% to charity this year.
Mm-hmm.
How do I do that?
Right.
By helping other companies, which provides revenue.
Right.
Help 400 kids through Riot.
Yeah.
Be PI Rookie of the Year. Those are things, there's a lot of synergy around them, but writing your goals down every single day. And I know you led me on to that.
Yeah.
I think you're a little bit more extreme than me, because you do them every morning and every night, right?
Yeah.
I do them in the morning, but it's a starting point for me. How about for you?
I guess it would be just continuing to get clarity on things, and for me now it's like, okay, what's most important, and I think we'll tackle that in the next couple podcasts, but really looking at what's most important and what's just kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody put it there as, well, I needed to have this goal. We listen to a lot of of TV and stuff like this, and you see all these things on social media, just to take some time and say, what's most important. And I think I've done a pretty good job with that in the past. I mean, I know that it was very important for me in 2018, because both my kids graduated that year, is to take them both on a trip together. Now that was a tumultuous time, and logically we shouldn't have been going on a trip, man. I just had so many things going on in the business, and I was like, no, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do it. And man, am I so thankful. I mean, we did 2 separate things, and it was amazing with both of them. I'd do it over again. But that's what I'd say, just to get clarity of what's most important, and keeping, that old cliche, keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah. That's really good. So as we kind of wrap up, what are some bullet points or action summaries you would give people who are listening?
Yeah, I'd say stay positive. I mean, a lot of people will start out, and then they'll give up like first 7 days. I mean, it's crazy. Gym memberships shoot through the roof on New Year's.
2 weeks. I'm telling you, I can't get a freaking treadmill for 2 weeks.
But then after,
and then I just run on all of them. I just run that way.
Change should be gradual. You mentioned that. You gave us a great example of that. Build on smaller changes. So look back at 2019. That's why we gave those questions. What can I continue to build on? Allow room for error. I mean, you're not perfect at it. That's but use it as an opportunity to create other change in other places. And then I would also say, and let's make sure we say this at the end of each podcast this month, is if somebody needs help with this is what we do. Yeah. So reach out, get you hooked up with one of our coaches. Definitely could do whatever you need, but a lot of people struggle at this time of year, and you don't have to. Yeah. Reach out, get a good person, get connected with that, and see that vision and those goals to fruition.
Yeah, and just to kind of echo that, the predictive index, the values index, and the attribute index have been game changers, and that all happened within 1 year, and it's because of you helping me understand who I am, self-awareness, the bigger picture, what are my motivators, but how do I see myself and how I see the world. I mean, that by far is worth the investment. Mm-hmm. So I agree 100% with reaching out to us. We would love to help.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to finish with this quote by Carl Jung. He says this: your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens.
Very good.
That is great. So thank you guys so much for staying tuned. In December, like I said, we're talking about 2020 vision. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We would love to stay in contact with you. You can also leave a comment in the comment section below of things that really stood out to you. And what is your vision for 2020? You can also visit our site at centerforvictory.com, and we would love to get connected with you. And we always finish with this, and it's this statement. Wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, make this your best day yet.
See ya.